What's going on? What's going on? Brutus here, bringing you another beer run series video. For the content, we're going to use our previous war, One Hive versus We Are Spartans. That was details of that we'll cover in a separate video, probably already posted by now. There was a lot. This actually segues and piggybacks off my thoughts from the update video in the Just Clash Maui. So take a look at this. I have 5 beer runs. And we have Lars, Josh, Gods Broski, Crazy Movin', and myself. Yep, lots of beer runs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show just one of their 2 raids. So we'll have 5, and we'll call it video because it's relevant to the last video that I did about the update, and you can see just how overpowering loons are in the hands of skilled attackers. But before we do that, and basically that you saw that also that some Town Hall 9s failed fresh, which basically proves nothing's an automatic, why I don't think Town Hall 9's even close to being broken. Let's start at the very bottom with number 25, because it's the only one that is not air, and it's Lars, who was in the Perfectly Imperfect video. Here's his other attack. He does a queen walk hobo, and his bowlers split on him, which doesn't go according to plan, but the plan was still solid enough that it didn't matter the outcome. So he starts the queen on the right, delays that heel down so that he can drag it over as far as possible, so that it doesn't get picked off unnecessarily from the angles of the air defense as he enters. So he can try to maximize those healers. Then he sends in what I like to consider a sneaky hog here. He's trying to get all the defenses distracted, but this bow ended up getting it. Plus he got a Tesla pop out of that. Had that bow engaged on the queen right about here. Then he sends that sneaky hog. He'd be able to get basically the archer tower and the wizard tower as well that was stuck on the queen. He's got a rage down for the BK engagement. Already put down one of his golems, and a nice funnel going on. Except for this elixir needed to go down, or before the jump goes down, or the jump needed to go down first. One or the other, but what happens was before the jump goes down, that elixir storage is still up, which basically reroutes the bowlers right there. I'm sorry, or the hut rather. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, basically that funnel didn't go quite as planned. That jump needed to be down sooner. They would have rerouted inward and stayed with the kill squad, but they didn't. He adjusts pretty nice on the fly here, where he notices that there's a split, but the healers are well placed behind the queen, so she's good to go. So he sends the hogs on the left to try to keep his bowlers and wizards up, and then tries to sneak it past the queen, who is sniping the shit out of these hogs. As we go to times 2, because there's a few more to show you. Poison to slow down her attack rate, but she got a good few of them. Enough survived getting through that basically take away all the point defenses, so that by the time that the healers behind his royals, and he still has the AQ ability in hand, come around the bend, he has a baby dragon to help the queen encounter, and it's a 3. So really nice job, Lars. One of his 6-pack raids. We'll jump out of here, and that's the only ground. Everything else is Lalo, but slightly different variations of it. We'll go up to 21 to Gods Broski. And he's going to do a Zapquake, but with a heal Lalo. Shout out to We Are Spartan Bases for trying to make them anti-air as best as possible. But I still think the key to stop Lalo is, number 1, don't put your CC and AQ out like this. Just don't do that. You're basically inviting a suicide here, a suicide Lalo. You got to bring those things back and more towards the core. That's basically step number 1. Step number 2, you got to have both bows to air, which they did. Step 3, you have to have funky air defense placement, which they also did. Their demise really was they kept their CC and AQ out to dry. And you'll see that reoccurring theme in most of these. There is a few that have them deeper, but you'll see that a Cold Blood is able to get to that unless you have funky AD pathing. So you'll see. Basic Suicide Royals gets the Queen CC, and Stu has the ability in hand with a baby dragon behind her. I mean, that's just, you can't do that. So everything else, these air defenses, usually you can invite a walk to get all of that at the top. But you'll see that in some of this other raids that they try to put, in the design at least, the air defense is shallow, so they're good for a walk, but the goal was to keep the anchor points of the hounds away from air targeting defenses such as wizard towers and Teslas and things like that, all stuck in the core. And I believe it was either Crazy Movin's got one like that, Crazy Movin', or I showed that in the recap. But either at the end of the day, though, some funky bases are starting to come out, trying to make them anti-Lalo. Hound bust at the end, but he has so much loons up at the end here, and he was not fighting the clock. We'll go to ×4. But there's just a lot of loons, and if you understand your loon pathing, you're going to be deadly. Get out of here. Let's go up to number 18 next. Crazy Movin'. And here's the segue I was talking about. Look at the air defense is shallow, right? So somebody that's good on air would think to yourself, I can walk one of those or two of those easily, which you could. But you know, there's more. There's so many ways to do that, and really the goal was I'm sorry. Before we go any further, what I liked about this was a shattered Lalo, but instead of 2 golems, he brought a golem and 2 witches. And look at the value that it brings from these witches. And notice that he's got witches in the CC. Look at this witch in the CC. I was talking about how witches in the CC can walk through poisons and things like that. She was in there the entire time, a hell of a lot longer than she normally would be, and was able to bring up a lot of Larrys to distract things. But he had 2 witches of his own plus a golem. Jumped straight into there. Is not going to get 2 air defenses though. Usually you require that with a shattered approach. However, because these air defenses are not covering each other, you can still go a hound per defense. That meta and rule has changed slightly. That you don't need a hound for every air defense +1 because of the way that designs are now to try to keep balance. But see how that hound, his tank, left all of his loons. That's what he brought the heal for and a haste. He doesn't lose too many, if any, if I'm not mistaken. He loses 1 loon right there. 1 loon, but was able to get 2 Teslas, 3 Teslas, 2 wizard towers as well. I mean, that's how you solve for that. Like I said, in the eyes of a skilled attacker, it's hard to stop Lalo without giving up completely, like a Vaho attack or a Hog Swarm attack or something like that. But I think, again, going back to one of the keys is to bring, because they exploited this fact on us as well. If you bring your queen and CC harder to lure, and your queen inside, forcing a spell or more troop investment to get to her like a cold blood, it's a good start. Yeah, because they exploited the crap out of that with us. Troll Tesla at the top, he almost should have left it there, because this hound was about to bust. Had the hound sat over it, he would have got more cleanup pups. But then now he was able to basically ensure that when that defense went down, his loons were in different spots on the map. So all of these, by the way, were not fighting the clock at all. None of them. So nice job, Crazy Movin'. Really sick attack. And a great way to illustrate how to deal with a Tesla or wizard farm in the middle that's not anchored by air defenses, so you can get in there. Let's go up to me. On 16, someone had asked, what do you do? I was talking about having the CC inward and the queen inward. The demise of this base was the AD pathing. So I could cold blood get the sweeper. The critical, you'll see how I do that. I can cold blood get a sweeper, the CC, the queen, and the air defense. And then what's left is an L-shaped air defense pathing that stays behind the sweeper. So having to force a spell to get in there to use more investment. The rage also was invested for this encounter. I ended up getting it anyway, just I think because of my royal levels. But a rage was down for this. I see that Valkyrie come out, and I was like, can I save the ability? Can I save the ability? Yes! Baby Dragon still up in the air. I did want my queen to get in when she takes that jump. Good, because I needed to get the sweeper. Once I see that happening, I got 4 hounds for 3 air defenses, and this also perfect segues or reinforces the last a comment I said about how the new rule of Lalo has changed because of dark spells, because of different troop levels, and the way that the loons behave, and that is that you may not always need an extra hound per defense. You may not need that because if the hound busts, look at this. I have 1 hound that unbust on this and is completely healthy. But if I lose my hound and I have a wad of loons coming at this air defense, you can still get it because you can overwhelm the base with the amount of loons that you have left. So that's why rethinking a hound per air defense +1 rule might have officially adapted. Considering that's definitely a viable strategy now. You don't have to worry about that too much. So we go to ×4, and the last one I have for you is Josh doing a Zapquake Lalo. So a lot of different variations here. Cold Blood, Shattered with Witches, Cold Blood, Shattered with Witches, a Zapquake with the heal, and now we're going to do just a Zapquake with 4 haste. As we go up to number 15, we got Josh. Remember, all of these are fresh hits. So, Queen hanging out to dry like that, right? Zaps the odd air defense. Look at the pathing of the sweepers on this. Obviously, you want to come this way. So you got to deal with this top 4 quadrant section. He brings so many loons, but there's no air defense now covering them. Plus, the Queen is now stuck on the BK. Baby Dragon takes out the Queen. That small investment of just 5 loons got so... Look at the return on investment that he got. All the defenses, not for targeting the hounds, for targeting for pathing of his loons, and he gets the lure out. So poison down for that. He's got to take care of this because they can all run around and mess up his loons. Another baby dragon up at top. He's going to Lalo the base with 16 loons and 4 hounds, and you can just see how he does that. We go to ×2 because it is slow moving. Just nice, like a clinic of Lalo, and they're so beautiful. And by the way, We Are Spartans did the exact same thing to us. You guys just need to know that. There was definitely, this war, both sides, was a clinic in air attacks. So I'm really looking forward to how this is going to swing things and change things up in the Champions War League. It's good because that magic number of 82, as we got a troll Tesla at the bottom, the magic number of 82 to win, no way. Yeah, I bet you the magic number is going to be 84 to 86 now. Yep, that's what I think. 84 is like a soft guesstimate. If I had the bet, I'd say 84. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's 85, 86 stars now. And the standard 30 on 30. Nice job. So that'll conclude the Beer Run series video of Lars, myself, Crazy Moving, Josh, and God's Broski. Once again, it's Brutus reminding you, you got to be better than a double, and I'll check you next time.